The book Exopolitics is itself what we call a quantum artifact, because we learned that it was possibly through quantum access time travel science traveled back in time from sometime after 2005 back to sometime at least prior to 1971. And there's all sorts of information that we learn about this from witnesses who saw it in 1971. We found that there was no adequate typology of intelligent civilizations that exists. And so that is, how are intelligent civilizations typed, and how are they distributed? And we came up with the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations based on the dimension of reality, or the energy frequency in which the intelligent civilization is based. Hello, I'm Alfred Lambremont Webre. I'm the founder and a faculty member at ExoUniversity.org. The title of this course is Exopolitics, the Science of Relations Among Intelligent Civilizations in the Multiverse. And the title of this class is The Dimensional Ecology of the Multiverse. Let me repeat that. The title of this class is The Dimensional Ecology of the Multiverse. This is the first of 12 classes in this course. There are 12 classes in this course, and this is the first of 12 classes. Exopolitics is a social science that addresses relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. The multiverse is defined as the sum of all parallel universes and dimensions, including the dimensions of the interlife, spiritual dimensions, what we know as the physical universe that we live in, and Source, or God. This course integrates empirical data from intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations and the intelligent civilizations of souls in the interlife dimension, and demonstrates a new hypothesis of a functioning ecology of intelligence in the dimensions of the multiverse. Exopolitics describes relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse, in the cosmos, or the sum of all parallel universes or dimensions, or everything. This course explores exopolitics through cosmology and ontology. As a branch of philosophy or science, cosmology addresses the nature of the multiverse, asking questions about the functions, components, and purpose of the multiverse. Ontology, as a branch of philosophy, addresses issues of being, existence, and reality. As a discipline, ontology grapples with the existence or non-existence of entities such as intelligent civilizations in the multiverse, and considers the typologies within which such civilizations should be grouped. This course addresses questions of how knowledge can arise within an experimenter's paradigm, or a perception of, which shifts from a 20th century model of canonical science that all intelligent life ends at Earth's orbit. That's what was held in the 20th century, to a 21st century exopolitical model of science, that the multiverse is filled with intelligent, evolving civilizations. This course, Exopolitics, is an outgrowth of a new typology for intelligent civilizations, and that's the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations that was developed by myself, Alfred Lambremont Webre, in response to a request by Oxford University Press, a division of the University of Oxford in the UK. And my book, Exopolitics, Politics, Government, and Law in the Universe, which you can obtain here at exouniversity.org, or you can obtain it at exopolitics.com, or you can obtain it on Amazon.com, was written in 1999 and originally published in the year 2000, and is credited with giving birth to this new social science of exopolitics. As you shall learn, the book Exopolitics is itself what we call a quantum artifact, because we learned that it was possibly through quantum access time travel science traveled back in time from sometime after 2005 back to sometime at least prior to 1971. And there's all sorts of information that we learn about this from witnesses who saw it in 1971, that in turn informs our understanding about exopolitics. The book Exopolitics, Politics, Government, and Law in the Universe is a required text for this course, not for this class, but for this course. If you go on to take all of the 12 classes and then want to have credit and have a certificate of credit for this course. Now, let's look at the dimensional ecology between what we call the exopolitical dimensions and the spiritual dimensions. Students in this course will be given the opportunity to address and learn about and explore questions of scientific knowledge about deep cosmological and ontological issues that are usually found in the realms of metaphysical, religious, or logical opinion or belief. So we take subjects that are usually in the realm of metaphysics, religion, or logical opinion or belief, and we expose them to science, and then we form hypotheses and look at that. And in this course, Exopolitics, we also address questions of intelligent life in the interlife dimension, or the afterlife dimension of existence. That is, life after this particular life in the physical universe, in a physical body. The new typology of intelligent civilizations has been extended to include empirical evidence that the multiverse includes a dimension of the interlife, or life after bodily death, i.e., it's a dimension and it's part of the dimensional ecology, which includes also this physical universe and other universes in a functioning ecology. The science of parapsychology has made subjects that are usually the focus of religion or metaphysical belief, and through use of the scientific method, has now made knowledge about areas like life after death accessible to science. Parapsychology uses science to study human psychic capacity, reincarnation, the survival of consciousness and life after bodily death, the nature of the interlife or life between lives, and the nature of the human, quote, soul, or a deeper entity that is located actually or based in the non-local dimension of the afterlife, which is in the spiritual dimensions as opposed to the exopolitical dimensions located in these physical universes. Our course explores an apparent dimensional ecology incorporating intelligent life in the physical and etheric dimensions of the multiverse that we refer to as the exopolitics dimensions, and intelligent life in the interlife dimensions that we refer to as the spiritual dimensions. Let's take a brief look in this first course, in this first class here, at just the subject matters of the 12 classes that we'll be covering in this course. In this class, we'll be introducing you to the dimensional ecology of the multiverse and a basic background in exopolitics, the science of relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. In class number 2, we're going to introduce you to the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. And this is a new typology that was developed and is being introduced in this course. It was developed in conjunction with Oxford University Press. And it was developed because we were asked by Oxford University Press to write a book on extraterrestrial civilizations and the law. And in order to approach that, we had to look at a typology of intelligent civilizations in reality. And we found that there was no adequate typology of intelligent civilizations that exists. And so that is, how are intelligent civilizations typed and how are they distributed? And we came up with the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations based on the dimension of reality, or the energy frequency in which the intelligent civilization is based. And that's the most fundamental criterion. And that's where intelligent civilizations self-report themselves as being based. They say, oh, I'm a Pleiadian from the 5th dimension. And we'll go into exploring all of those dimensions. And that's in class 2. In class 3, we'll begin to explore the 3rd dimension civilizations in our own solar system by doing a case study on the intelligent civilization on our planetary neighbor Mars, and we'll be looking at the witness evidence. We employ the methodology of the law of evidence, which courts have been using for centuries, composed of witness evidence and documentary evidence. And we'll be looking at the witness evidence, expert witness and eyewitnesses, in class 3 for the intelligent civilization on Mars. In class 4, we'll be looking at the documentary evidence, photographs and other documentary evidence for a 3rd dimension solar system civilizations, the case study of life on Mars. In class 5, we'll be going to what we call hyperdimensional civilizations. These are civilizations that exist outside of our own time-space dimension, in upper dimensions or in parallel universes. And we have witness evidence of this and we have documentary evidence of them. And we'll be exploring these hyperdimensional civilizations. In class 6, we'll be going into intelligent civilizations governance bodies throughout the multiverse, because what we've discovered in the exopolitics model is that the multiverse is filled with evolving, intelligent civilizations that are organized and that govern themselves with governance models and governance bodies that are of their own device. So we'll be exploring that. In class 7, we'll be exploring more in detail of the dimensional ecology as between the exopolitical and spiritual dimensions. In class 8, we'll approach science and the spiritual dimensions, and that is how to explore the spiritual dimensions, the dimension of the afterlife, the dimension of source from a scientific point of view. In class 9, we'll look more closely at the various science-based data gathered according to the scientific method for the continuation of consciousness after bodily death, near-death experiences, reincarnation studies, video, computer, and other forms of communication with the interlife dimension. And in class 10, we'll be looking at the dimensional ecology of the intelligent civilization of souls. In class 11, we'll look at science-based case studies of the soul, of spiritual beings, and of source in the spiritual dimension of the multiverse. And in class 12, we'll look at implications of the dimensional ecology, both of the exopolitical and the spiritual dimensions. And this completes our syllabus for the 12 classes in this introductory course to exopolitics, the science of relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse, including both extraterrestrial and interdimensional civilizations and the intelligent civilizations of souls and spiritual beings in source. Now, let's look at some more issues regarding the dimensional ecology. What we can say is that we Earthlings live in a dimensional ecology of intelligent life that encompasses extraterrestrials in parallel dimensions and universes, souls in the afterlife, and spiritual beings in the spiritual dimensions and source within a multiverse, or all that is. This model of the dimensional ecology of the multiverse is based on replicable knowledge developed according to the scientific method about subject matters that traditionally have been issues of personal or institutional belief and religious dogma. Knowledge of the dimensional ecology of the multiverse has existed for millennia in our earthly religions, sacred and occult texts, and in the group and personal beliefs of human societies throughout history. Science now confirms that other universes and dimensions parallel to our own exist. We do not know the total number or nature of parallel universes and dimensions at this time. We call the totality of all parallel universes and dimensions, including the afterlife in the spiritual dimensions, the multiverse. The dimensional ecology of the multiverse is both a scientific hypothesis and a truth that many earthling humans are familiar with intuitively or have learned during their lives in their families, schools, religions, reading, or philosophizing. Humans are familiar with general aspects of the dimensional ecology, such as afterlife, souls, and source, otherwise known as God, although they may have widely differing opinions depending on race, nationality, gender, and education as to whether the, quote, afterlife, souls, and source, aka God, actually in fact exist and in what specific form. Many assertions about specific aspects of the dimensional ecology, such as life after death, are set out in religious beliefs, dogmas, and sacred texts that organized religions have relied on over millennia to win followers. Yet important details of the afterlife, as reported in various human religions, for example, are sometimes only partially correct or downright false when compared to replicable, scientifically derived knowledge about the nature of the afterlife after physical death, for example. Science now confirms that we humans possess eternal souls. One hypothesis based on replicable empirical evidence of hypnotic regression of soul memories of the interlife is that our human souls are created as holographic fragments of the source of the multiverse. Scientific research confirms that our souls transit between the afterlife dimensions and lives as earthly humans and as extraterrestrial and interdimensional beings in parallel dimensions and universes that we call the exopolitics dimensions. Controversy also surrounds the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial and interdimensional civilizations. A deliberate information embargo imposed over generations of humans on planet Earth by terrestrial ruling controllers, military intelligence agencies, and specific species of extraterrestrials has left our fellow humans mired in deliberate confusion and misinformation about basic facts concerning the existence and organization of intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. The dimensional ecology, a hypothesis. The dimensional ecology hypothesis states, we Earthlings live in a dimensional ecology of intelligent life that encompasses extraterrestrials in parallel dimensions and universes, souls in the afterlife dimensions, spiritual beings in the spiritual dimensions, and source within the multiverse, or all that is. The dimensional ecology hypothesis is a guide to intelligent life in the multiverse. It is an educated guess based on observations such as witness testimony, data, and cases of how and where intelligent life exists in reality. A hypothesis is, by accepted definition, an educated guess based on observation. Usually a hypothesis can be supported or refuted through experimentation or more observation. A hypothesis can be disproven, but not proven to be true. The dimensional ecology hypothesis can be supported and tested through the scientific method and the law of evidence, using witness, documentary, and experimental evidence. Replicable observation from hypnotic regression of soul memories of the afterlife tells us there is a core of clusters of dimensions within the multiverse itself. This core cluster of dimensions we can by convention call, quote, the spiritual dimensions. Empirical data also tell us there's a secondary cluster of dimensions in the multiverse that is a continual creation of intelligent civilizations within the spiritual dimensions. This, by convention, we can call, quote, the exopolitical dimensions. Spiritual dimensions. The spiritual dimensions encompass the dimensions of the afterlife or the interlife that are inhabited by the intelligent civilizations of souls and interdimensional beings. Replicable evidence tells us that God, or Source, is the spiritual dimensions of the multiverse as a whole, and that our human souls are holographic fragments of God or Source, i.e., my human soul and your human soul are holographically part of God, part of the spiritual dimensions of the multiverse, and as such, a functioning part of God that in turn is creating the exopolitical dimensions, including this physical universe in which we live. Exopolitical dimensions encompass what we normally call our known physical multiverse, including this physical universe in which we live and the dimensions around it, into which the souls incarnate and which our souls are participating in creating for multiple purposes, including a hothouse for soul development. The exopolitical dimensions also encompass all parallel universes and dimensions that exist, including those where extraterrestrial and interdimensional intelligent civilizations reside. Our universe, galaxy, solar system, and planet Earth are within the exopolitical dimensions that are created by intelligent civilizations and beings within the spiritual dimensions for a variety of goals centered principally around the development of souls that in turn can become godlike through experience and growth. The exopolitical dimensions are the dimensions where souls from the spiritual dimensions incarnate into a diversity of lives as humans on Earth or extraterrestrials and interdimensional beings on other planets or in parallel universes. The exopolitical dimensions are also those dimensions where spiritual, interdimensional beings from the spiritual dimensions come to aid and minister to incarnating souls in their exopolitical lives. The purposes of the dimensional ecology are to facilitate evolution of higher consciousness and moral growth in all dimensions of the multiverse through a variety of intra-dimensional and interdimensional activities. For example, souls and interdimensional beings from the spiritual dimensions may incarnate as extraterrestrials in the exopolitical dimensions, and by acquiring the moral experience of life, say, as an earthling or Martian human, advance their individual soul development. Dimensions in the multiverse vary and consist of bounded ranges and frequencies of energy. Advanced dimensions can possess unique properties such as time, light, and love that earthling human science and spirituality are only beginning to explore and comprehend can be dimensions of existence. Dimensions can contain diverse levels of consciousness and life unique to that dimension and promote the evolution of consciousness across dimensions. The full nature of the original source or God of the multiverse remains a scientific mystery as of this writing. As stated, the most reliable hypothesis based on experimental data of thousands of cases of soul memories of the interlife is that God or Source responsible for the multiverse is the totality of the spiritual dimensions, which includes our souls. Thus, the entire civilization of human souls and spiritual beings in the spiritual dimensions participate in and make up God. These include your human soul and mine. Our souls are holographically and actually components of God or Source. Replicable data from hypnotic regression of soul memories from the human afterlife inform us that one aspect of God or Source can be described as a vast field of living light. Earthling human souls, including yours and mine, are formed as eggs of light from that field of light in as yet an unrevealed mass production-like process. One central mission of the multiverse appears to be the creation and development of souls that in turn can grow into spiritual beings that can become godlike or source-like and participate in the creation of universes in the multiverse. Our souls all have the potential to share in the process of being Source. Let's focus now on exopolitics as a science. As a science, exopolitics uses tools familiar to other sciences. These include the philosophy of science, a research database of standard classifications, and the law of evidence as a methodology for evaluating witness and documentary evidence. Exopolitics uses the concepts and structures of cosmology and ontology to frame its essential questions. Again, as a branch of philosophy and science, cosmology addresses the nature of the multiverse, asking questions about its functions, components, and purposes. Ontology, as a branch of science, addresses issues of being, existence, and reality, and grapples with the existence or non-existence of entities such as intelligent civilizations in the multiverse, and considers how typologies should be developed, grouping these intelligent civilizations. As a science, exopolitics addresses questions raised by empirical evidence and replicable scientific knowledge about intelligent civilizations in the multiverse, as opposed to personal, metaphysical, religious, or logical knowledge, opinion, or belief. Core exopolitical questions include: are there intelligent civilizations in the multiverse beyond Earth? And how can we know and test this? What forms do intelligent civilizations take in the multiverse? How can we develop a typology of these intelligent civilizations? How can we know and test whether the multiverse includes a dimension of the interlife or life after bodily death? How does the typology of intelligent life in the interlife dimension, the life of the soul, relate to a typology of intelligent life in the physical dimensions of the multiverse, the life of the body? What does an integrated model of science-based, knowable, provable, intelligent life in the multiverse look like? There are primary databases for empirical research in exopolitics and exopolitical activity that can be derived using the scientific method of laboratory protocol and replicable results from a wide variety of sources. And they include at least the following formal categories of primary research data. Category 1, Exopolitics derives a great deal of its research data from whistleblowers from inside secret extraterrestrial liaison programs. Let me repeat that. Exopolitics derives a great deal of its data from whistleblowers from inside secret extraterrestrial liaison programs. Category 2, documentary evidence, including photographs, video, radar reports, etc. from government and official sources. Category 3, replicable information derived from technology-based out-of-body experiences, Montauk chair devices, chronovisors, teleporters, Stargate technology, plasma confinement chamber technology, jump room technology, etc. Category 4, replicable scientific remote viewing using standard laboratory protocols. Category 5, voluntary, conscious, physical contactees with off-planet cultures. Category 6, involuntary, semi-conscious physical contactees, otherwise known as abductees. Category 7, semi-conscious alter-physical contactees. Category 8, voluntary psychic contactees. These are known otherwise as channelers or visionaries. Now, there is a quadrant as to what degree of accuracy and how to evaluate the information derived in each of these data sources. Category 9, neutral psychic contactees. Category 10, sighting reports. Category 11, astute interpreters and debriefers. Category 12, extraterrestrial or interdimensional artifacts, which are discovered. Category 13, independent archaeology and exoarchaeology, such as exists on the surface of Mars. Category 14, shamans and occult societies also have knowledge. Category 15, in some cases, science fiction can be used. And category 16, revelations authorized by universe governance authorities. And again, these are communications from galactic governance authorities, and there has to be a great deal of professional discernment applied to each of these. Exopolitics and the law of evidence. Exopolitics employs the law of witness and documentary evidence as a methodology leading to evaluate this new generation of empirical data regarding life on planets neighboring Earth and in dimensions adjacent to Earth. Witness evidence. One source summarizes the principles of the law of witness evidence as follows. Quote, in systems of proof based on the English common law tradition, almost all of the evidence must be sponsored by a witness who has sworn or solemnly affirmed to tell the truth. The bulk of the law of evidence regulates the type of evidence that may be sought from witnesses and the manner in which the interrogation of witnesses is conducted through direct examination and cross-examination of witnesses. Other types of evidentiary rules specify the standards of persuasion, for example, proof beyond a reasonable doubt, or a civil standard, of more reasonably than not, more probably than not, that a trier of fact, such as a jury, must apply when it assesses evidence. Documentary evidence. Documentary evidence, including photographic evidence, can be treated according to one source as follows, quote, evidence of an indirect nature which implies the existence of the main fact in question, but does not in itself prove it. That is, the existence of the main fact is deduced from the indirect or circumstantial evidence by a process of probable reasoning. The introduction of a defendant's fingerprints or DNA sample are examples of circumstantial evidence. The fact that a defendant had a motive to commit a crime is circumstantial evidence. It is possible to argue that all evidence is ultimately circumstantial on the premise that no experience whatsoever can directly prove a fact. Recall, however, that courts of law deal with what is reasonable, not with ontology, end of quote. The principal questions of ontology are what can be said to exist and into what categories, if any, can we sort existing things. More on exopolitics. The findings from two key sciences, exopolitics and parapsychology, are necessary to address key questions such as how do intelligent civilizations in the multiverse relate to each other? What is the relationship between intelligent extraterrestrial or interdimensional civilizations and the reincarnation of the human soul? The scientific method, the law of evidence, and empirical findings from the emerging sciences of exopolitics and parapsychology all support the hypothesis that intelligent civilizations exist in a dimensional ecology in the multiverse. Let's look at the development of the science of exopolitics between the years 2000 and 2010. The science of exopolitics first formally begins with my writing a 1999 book defining the science. The book was called Exopolitics, The Decade of Contact, and publishing this book, Exopolitics, online in the year 2000 as a free ebook to seed a paradigm of thought for earthling humankind. Disclosure of and governmental and public acknowledgement and understanding of an extraterrestrial and multidimensional presence on Earth accelerates since the year 2000, the year the exopolitics model was first published on Earth. I first present the exopolitics model publicly in the year 2000, in June 2000, at a scholarly conference at the University of Wyoming, chaired by Professor Leo Sprinkle. Exopolitics is nominated for 2005 Word of the Year. By 2010, exopolitics organizations exist in about 30 nations around the world, and over 40 nations have made their secret UFO and extraterrestrial files public. By 2011, the science of exopolitics succeeds beyond expectations in helping facilitate the acceleration of human consciousness of our existence in a multidimensional ecology of intelligent civilizations. It's like the 100th monkey, where all start washing their yams. It's an exopolitical way of thinking, of just understanding intuitively that we live in a populated and organized multiverse. Exopolitics is a candidate for triggering a crucial sea change in human perception about our collectively and individually living in a multidimensional multiverse filled with intelligent, evolving civilizations, some of which are interacting with us now. The exopolitics model. The exopolitics model is the obverse of the 20th century canon of science. which holds that all intelligent life ends at Earth's geostationary orbit. The penalty in the 20th century for any professional not towing this scientific line is probable loss of professional status and possible harassment by government authorities. The exopolitics model holds that we live in a highly populated multiverse filled with intelligent, evolving civilizations operating under universal law, having governance systems and mediated by multiverse politics. We on Earth are just becoming aware that we live in a populated, organized multiverse. Like all models, exopolitics provides a path for minds to go where they have not ventured before. The exopolitics models provides the interface between human and extraterrestrial societies. Let me repeat that. The exopolitics model provides the interface between human and extraterrestrial societies. The exopolitics model is a human version of the 100th monkey effect, which holds that once monkeys have begun washing their yams on one island, this will result in all monkeys on all islands washing their yams. Exopolitics allows all of us to internalize the truth that we are part of a populated cosmos and that our neighbors are reaching out to us at this time. As Thomas Kuhn, author of The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, writes, scientific revolutions come about in paradigm shifts, in sea changes in terms of the way our entire human species chooses to define its reality. No amount of scientific data can change any single individual's mind about the fact that humanity lives in a populated multiverse, one filled with diverse advanced civilizations, some of which are seeking to engage us now. Each person has to want to change her or his own mind on the basis of available data and context. Each of our personal opinions about the reality of extraterrestrial presence on Earth now falls along a spectrum of public opinion that has already been scientifically measured by public opinion pollsters. A 1996 Gallup poll, for example, shows that 72% of the U.S. adult population believes there is some form of extraterrestrial life. 45% of the adult population believes that Earth is visited by extraterrestrial life. A 2005 poll of Australian adults, nearly a decade later, more than validates the Gallup results. According to the 2005 Australian poll, quote, the question, do you think there are other forms of intelligent life in the universe? 81% say yes. Of those who believe in aliens, 83% think other life forms have already dropped by. 2/3 of our overall sample and a whopping 84% of believers tell us that aliens are more likely to be our friends than foes. Regardless of our belief about aliens, most Australians feel that the authorities are withholding information on this topic. Over 3/4 of our overall sample say no to the question, do you think authorities are telling us all they know about alien encounters? About 1/5 of our sample state categorically that they do not believe in the existence of aliens, yet they don't necessarily think the believers are crazy. In fact, a 2002 Roper poll on American beliefs and personal experiences on intelligent life using rigorous scientific polling methods finds that about half, 48% of U.S. adults, believe that intelligent life from other planets or dimensions is now visiting Earth, and that 2/3, 67%, of U.S. adults believe in the existence of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. The Roper poll also finds that 72% of U.S. adults believes that the U.S. government is not telling the truth about all that it knows about spacecraft or unidentified objects visiting Earth. Fully 14% of Americans say that they have had a close encounter with a spacecraft or unidentified flying object. Now, 2% of Americans tell Roper that they have had an encounter with intelligent beings from other planets or dimensions. Roper also finds that among those adult Americans who believe in abductions by non-terrestrial beings, fully 1/3, or 33%, claim that they either experienced or know someone who experienced a close encounter with intelligent beings from other planets or dimensions. Let's take a look at the disclosure movement as part of exopolitics. Not surprisingly, a public disclosure movement is emerging in North America and worldwide. Its focus is to force credible disclosure of official contact and to stop the information war against the extraterrestrial presence. Disclosure movements have long-standing political and constitutional roots in the U.S. and elsewhere. Public interest groups have often used the political and constitutional process to make public and stop secret unconstitutional wars and programs. Such was the case in the Watergate cover-up, the Iran-Contra drug weapons scheme, the 9/11 false flag operation, the global war on terror, which has killed or displaced millions of innocent civilians with questionable authority. Public disclosure of extraterrestrial contact and of the information war is a nexus point where terrestrial politics and exopolitics meet. To mix many metaphors, disclosure is, quote, where the rubber meets the road. Public disclosure is how exopolitics acquires traction in human awareness and terrestrial politics. Disclosure is the procedural antecedent to full, sustained institutional contact with an extraterrestrial and multidimensional universe society. Looking at disclosure since the year 2000, as a meme or psychosocial thought form, the exopolitics model is now driving public policy regarding governmentally classified programs, observations, surveillance, and files of extraterrestrial-related phenomena. Since the year 2000, the year exopolitics was founded, governments from various regions of the world have begun to release formerly secret files and make public statements regarding reports of unidentified flying objects, and may be either extraterrestrial or terrestrial craft on extraterrestrial technology known as ARVs, or alien reproduction craft. Likewise, former government officials, space experts, pilots, and other official sanctioned observers may have also come forward to disclose their own experiences and provide testimony regarding the presence of extraterrestrial or multidimensional civilizations on Earth. On May 9th, 2001, a group of whistleblowers from among 100 high-level governmental, political, and military intelligence witnesses to the presence of extraterrestrial civilizations on Earth, of which I was one of those 100 witnesses, gave their testimony at a Disclosure Project press conference. Dr. Carol Rosin of the Institute for Cooperation in Space testified as to Dr. Werner von Braun's revelations of a possible, quote, false flag war against the evil ETs that would be simulated by U.S. military intelligence in order to perpetuate the permanent war economy and maintain the extraterrestrial truth embargo. On May 11, 2004, the Mexican Department of Defense released secret UFO sightings reports. On May 20th, 2005, the Brazilian Air Force released classified UFO reports to researchers. Concurrently, Peru and Chile and other nations have also released secret extraterrestrial sighting reports. On September 25th, 2005, Paul Hellyer, a former Minister of Defense and Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, who I began collaborating with in the early part of the 21st century, and who has written a lengthy introduction to my book Exopolitics, declared, quote, "UFOs are as real as the planes over your head." Hellyer continues, "The United States military are preparing weapons which could be used against the aliens, and they could get us into an intergalactic war without us ever having any warning." He also stated that he would like to see what extraterrestrial technology there might be that could eliminate the burning of fossil fuels within a generation. That would be a way to save our planet. In March 2007, Fife Symington publicly recanted statements of official denial that he had made as governor of Arizona during the Phoenix Lights of March 13, 1997. And on the 10th anniversary of the event, Symington admitted on national television that he and 10,000 others had actually seen a 2-mile-wide extraterrestrial spacecraft as it glided silently over Phoenix. On November 12, 2007, James Fox and Leslie Kean of the Coalition for Freedom of Information brought together at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., a panel of high-level witnesses to what some described as extraterrestrial craft and phenomena. The panel, moderated by Governor Symington, included a retired general, pilots, and former government officials, and was patterned on the Disclosure Project press conference of May 9, 2001. On March 22, 2007, the French Space Agency announced it was making public its secret files on UFOs and possible extraterrestrial sightings. The New Scientist reporting of 16,000 cases registered since 1954, nearly 25% are classified as Type D, meaning that despite good or very good data and credible witnesses, we are confronted with something that we cannot explain. On May 2nd, 2007, the UK Ministry of Defence announced that it was releasing up to 7,200 secret UFO files dating back to 1967, collected by DI-55, a secret unit within the Ministry of Defence. On May 14, 2008, the UK Ministry of Defence began releasing a large number of these formerly secret files, a process that culminated on October 2008. On February 15, 2009, Denmark also released 15,000 formerly secret UFO files. At a September 27th National Press Club conference, former U.S. servicemen Dwin Arneson, Bruce Fenstermacher, Charles Halt, U.S. Air Force Colonel Robert Hastings, Robert Jameson, Patrick McDonough, Jerome Nelson, and former Captain Robert Salas disclosed facts related to interventions by UFOs in UK and U.S. nuclear facilities. And so this brings to a close our first class in this course on Exopolitics, the science of relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. This first class has been on the dimensional ecology of the multiverse, including an overview of exopolitics. And we look forward to your participation in the rest of this course and in Class 2, which will be an introduction to the dimension-based typology of intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. I remind you that the textbook for this course is my book, Exopolitics, Politics, Government, and Law in the Multiverse, which can be obtained online here at exouniversity.org, at exopolitics.com, and at amazon.com. Thank you very much for your participation in Exo University, an online facility in ExoSciences, PsiSciences, and Exopolitics. Good day.